Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Caesar, what are your, by the way, how long, how many, how long can you go? I do want to ask one more question.
I'm good. I'm good. We can go as long as you want. Whatever.
Oh, okay. Okay,
I don't
cool.
have well, the conversation goes where it needs to go, and this is for you, this is for me, and this is for anybody who's listening. So I don't put a
Okay.
time on it, just wherever it needs to go.
Okay. Caesar, so what are your thoughts on God? So I kind of want to briefly tell you what happened. It kind of goes back to my me leaving this particular school that I was a part of and stuff. So when my teacher told me that I can't be doing, you have to choose, like you have to basically, be a part of our school, or you can't be, you have to basically leave boxing and all this kind of stuff behind. And I was just kind of like, oh man, that's a tough choice. But I obviously ultimately chose to walk away from the school, and I was really depressed. And I spoke to a particular student of the school, and basically, I was really depressed, and I was talking to her saying like, man, like, just, I don't know where to go from here. Like, I really can't, I really thought this empath was my thing. And like, I wanted to really like, pursue this and stuff, but I didn't realize just how strict they were and stuff, yada, yada, yada. And then, um, the conversation went to like, God and angels and stuff. And like basically this lady is incredible. Like, she's very advanced, and like she can do some phenomenal things. And basically she started telling me about angels and God and things like that. And like, the last time I spoke to her, we kind of left with like, can maybe, you should just start, building a relationship with angels, start doing more prayers and stuff. Maybe that's like what's good for you. Interesting enough, like, then I synchronistically like spoke to a woman from Australia who I've interviewed in the past. I'm not going to mention her name because she's been so away from the scene for so long, so I'm not going to mention her name. But she basically told me about her angelic experiences where she prayed to a certain angel. I want to say it's Angel Michael. I don't know for sure, but she shared a story with me when she prayed to an angel that like feathers started falling from her room out of nowhere and stuff. And when I heard that story, I was like, man, that's synchronistic. And yeah, and she was telling me that like, she synchronistically like was watching a podcast about like, Angel Michael, and she was like, hey Ken, maybe this is like a podcast for you. I watched that podcast, and I was not like, it was a Jeff Maurer podcast, and it just wasn't resonating with me at all. And so I was just thinking like, maybe this is just telling me like, it's like, maybe this is a sign that this angel thing is doesn't mean anything to me, But now I'm thinking to myself, well, but maybe there was a sign. Like maybe there was a sign that like, I need to basically, I don't know, like pray to God or pray to angels more to seek their wisdom and stuff. What are your? I'm sharing. I know it's a long story, but I'm sharing this story to say, Caesar, what is your understanding of God and stuff, and what are your understanding of angels? My understanding of angels is that they're basically just advanced beings that just transcended. What is your understanding of what God is, and what is your understanding of what angels are?
Well, first, I want to say that what's meant for Ken is for Ken. Okay. So even though introduced to you a podcast on angels and it didn't resonate with you, probably wasn't for you, so you'll know you've had moments where something resonates with you, that's for you, period. Okay. So don't question that. So that's cool. My thoughts about God. So I'm not a religious person. I don't follow organized religion. I think it's BS. Okay. But I am a spiritual person. Now, to make sure that I'm clear on this, is it's great that people have a faith to believe in, a religion, if you will, because it gives people a direction. Okay, it gives also people a moral compass. What's right and what's wrong, right? Based off of their understanding of morality. So it's great that people follow religions, but not me. Okay. Now, religion, from ancient texts, I can tell you that it was created. It was created to manipulate. Okay. So the fact that, and I'm just telling you that in short, so people can look into it if you care to look into it, if it resonates with you. But ancient text tells you exactly how, why, and when it was created. Okay. Um, so we got that clear on my side. But so, and religion is kind of like the middleman between me and spirituality, or source, or God, right? So let's remove that out of the way and let's just go ahead and talk to you know the higher version of us. So what is source? I think source is love. I think
Mm.
source is love, and more, to be more specific, it's unconditional love. I think that when we come here to have this human experience, we are given bits and pieces, and we're taught on what love is. But I mean, how many stories have you heard of people like having like near death experiences and tell you that they've experienced unconditional love, and it's something that they just have been trying to find for years here on earth, because we don't really know it. We tap into it? Absolutely. But we don't really know what it is because we're focused too much on our physical mind and our understanding of what we're told that love is. So yeah, so God is love, or unconditional love, I should say. And angels, I do believe the angels do exist. I just believe that they exist in a different realm within our what I call our construct. So there's my answer to that.
Interesting. You know, I have a question for you, and maybe this is why I was meant to talk to you today. It almost feels like this is more than an interview. This was like a almost like a consultation session. I always knew you were like a great guy and stuff, and I wanted to speak to you and stuff, but I didn't expect this to almost be like a counseling Ken type of thing. But I am kind of
Let's call it
like
that.
lately. Yeah, that's fine. But um, you know, you mentioned unconditional love. There's teachers out there that practice like I've interviewed Dr. Gallenberger from the Monroe, and so he's a telekinesis guy as well.
Oh wow.
And he manifests money and things like that, and he like basically his whole course is on like just was pretty much, if you can like simplify it, was like basically just you know be heart centered and just be in like like you said, unconditional love. He doesn't call it that. I forgot how he phrased it. But he does emphasize love a lot. And sometimes I wonder, like maybe like me, like you said, I'm trying to find all these like techniques on like scanning nerve fibers and like lowering my brainwave, lowering my heart rate, lowering my blood pressure, and like you know meditations and like sun gazing and lucid dreaming and like grounding and all this kind of stuff you got to do. Like maybe I don't need any of that stuff. Maybe what I need is to really truly tap into unconditional love, and I can really truly create the reality that I want. Maybe that's what I really truly need to focus on. Maybe that's what the answer that I've been seeking. Can you
I love
kind
it.
of relate to that, or
Yeah,
what
yeah,
do you
yeah.
think?
I first of all, I'm sitting here in gratitude, Ken, because um I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you, and
Really?
I am. I'm very proud of you with what you just said. You just came to you're tapping into the gateway to the next evolution of you,
Mm,
by just having the thought and the conversation. I mean, forget that I'm here. You're see, the way that I look at us is that I'm you and you're me. One of the things that I say at the end of
mm,
my podcast is I love you, I hear you, I see you, I am you. Okay? We are the same. So I don't see you as the physical, meat suit that you're wearing right now. What I see is your true you. All right. And I see your true you trying to remember. You're in there struggling, trying to remember, like, man, like I know I came here to do something, and I know the intent of this experience was to forget why I came here in the first place, but I'm trying to remember. And you're doing all of these different things. So you're not wrong. Everything that you've done up to this point has been part of the process, and it has been intentional. So there's no regret behind any of that. You're on the right path to then get to this episode, to this conversation, to this last comment that you just made, that maybe I don't need all of that. Maybe I just need to go back into my heart. So it took, how old are you, can I ask?
35.
You're 35 and X month, X amount of months and days, seconds, minutes, whatever, to get to this point, to make that realization. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. And I told you earlier in this episode that this conversation is either for you, for me, or for anybody else who's listening. Okay. So this is everything that's happening right now is meant to be how it's supposed to be. When you said that last comment before I started talking, when you asked me how does that resonate with you, I was resonating with you as you were completing that sentence. This is also why I clapped. All right, I clapped because I'm proud of you, man. I feel that my true self just felt that. When you ring a bell, it resonates, or a crystal, when you hit it, it resonates. When you hit that comment, that sentence, it rang, and I felt it here in Florida. And I'm like, you got it. You got it. Where that goes from here is up to you, but it's a beautiful thing to recognize. So that's how I feel about that. And yes, that resonates with me, to answer your question.
Interesting. Yeah, man, you made me think about a lot of things, and but yeah, unconditional love. Yeah, it's so difficult to embody that, I think, because we live in a world where, we turn on the news, well, nowadays, most people don't watch TV, but we get feeds right nowadays on social media, and like we see just negativity after negativity, so it's and we go to work and stuff. I don't know what you do for a living, but like we go to work and we see, drama, negativity and stuff, and it's just hard to be in unconditional love sometimes. But I do remind myself, like that is the most important thing from time to time. But really, like, maybe it's not something that I should say, hey, it's not something that I need to remind myself. Maybe it's just something that I need to really truly embody and really truly just become. Maybe that's what I need to do, and maybe that's the most important thing above anything else, perhaps. So
once you do that, Ken, you're going to unlock all those things that you're trying to unlock. Snap, 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 snap. Okay. And then you're going to then reflect, and you're going to be like, damn, that's all I needed to do. All I needed to do was just open up that heart center. Like, for those that like to visualize it, and you use the term process, is when you are, I'm going to say the word loosely, meditating. Okay. But when you're present, how about that? When you're present and you're quieting, things down. I like to use a headset that's like the construction grade noise cancellation. I'm talking about, like, I hear nothing. Okay. And then I use a mask to black out my eyes. I mean, I want to be like just here. And for those of you that are listening, if you have a pool, even better. I have a pool. I go deep down with the snorkel, and I use that to just tune out everything, because frequencies are not going to get too far to me when I'm underwater. But anyways, I digress. What I'm saying is that once you get to that present state of mind, then, like, literally visualize yourself, Tiny Ken, in your head, from head to toe. Look at your fingers, look at your toes, look at what you're wearing. Visualize a character of you in your head, and then now visualize that character going somewhere. And that journey Well, it's going to take you wherever it needs to go. But what I'm saying is that journey should find its way into the center of your heart. Look for a tiny pinhole of a light in the darkness. And then when you get there, put your finger in it and open it. Open it. Because when we were created, that spark, that consciousness that animates us, within that, the gem, the jewel of God, of source, was hidden so far deep inside of us in the heart center that it said that when you're ready, you'll find it. You'll always find the center. But then we get here and we get hijacked by those that know that we're more than just this, and they feed us all of this dense energy. Then we put on layers of clothes. We are the image that you are, the image that I am, are a compilation of everything that we've seen up to this point in our life. You saw this jacket on TV. You heard this song. You talk a certain way. You shave your head. You walk a certain way. The shoes that you wear, the necklace, everything that we have is a compilation of something else, but it's not really us. It's not us. We are a reflection of our society, of our experiences. So when you understand that, now you're like, okay, I got it. Now I'm going to go find myself. And when you find yourself, Ken, it's a whole new world.
Yeah, that's very well said. I'd like to wrap this interview up. My audience is going to be mad at me if I don't talk enough about energy work and supernormal abilities, because that's what my primary focus on my channel is. So, I would like to end with a question. What is you obviously mentioned, you mentioned earlier about unlocking supernormal abilities and stuff like that. Is there a particular ability that you would like to unlock? And you mentioned superheroes. You mentioned that you were reading comic books and things like that. Do you have a particular favorite superhero that you liked as a child or something?
Sure. If we play along the lines of a fictional superhero, oh man, Batman doesn't have a superpower, but that is my go-to guy. I'm a everybody that knows me outside the podcast,
I love Batman.
I'm a Batman guy. But I say my other two would probably be healing, super healing, And I think my gist of things is always when it comes to power, it's about immortality. All right. And I think I resonate more with immortality because of my current mindset that I know that I am immortal. Technically, spiritually wise, I'm immortal. So are you. So is everybody listening, to us, right? So this is why I resonate with that ability a lot more. Is that ability to unlock? Not really. I guess to kind of really answer your question, I guess teleportation would be pretty cool.
Teleportation.
Yeah, just straight up, just shift myself from one place and appear in the other. So I think that'd be a cool one. But the thing, Ken, is when I outer body, I do those things. So it's not as intriguing today as it was when I was younger, when I thought it was just fiction. Once you know that in your natural state you can do these things, it's just a natural state. I don't get excited when I move my finger. you know what I mean? Because it's just what I do. If you can get in your audience, if you guys can get in the state of mind that your natural abilities, these abilities that Ken and your folks are trying to unlock, if you get into a state of mind that you can already do this as simple as moving a finger, when you have that feeling, when you remember that that's what you do, then guess what? It has no other option but to surface itself. That's it. There's I'll leave you with with this. There's a powerful equation, if you will. People say people use the phrase information is power. Have you heard that before, right? That's great, but there's a piece to that they don't really talk about. Information is power, but you have to also put in application to that information. And in our conversation, I will switch that with intention. So if you know something and you combine the intention to that knowing, it manifests itself. It becomes a reality. Okay. One of the main gifts that we were given coming here to this first realm was the power of imagination. Why? Because that's what we do up there or wherever outside of here. That's what we do. That's how we create things, because you just think it, you imagine it into existence. So we bring that to here. And then when you come here, that is probably almost the number one thing that is being buried, because as you go into the education system as a kindergartner all the way up, you're being taught processes. This is how you logically solve a problem, things like that. You don't tell when a baby is young, it's putting stuff in its mouth. It doesn't know about the process of how it's actually done. It's just exploring with its imagination. you know so until we ruin the baby, and then we put him into school, and then they learn that imagination, it's not for you, that's for somebody else that with talent. We're all talented, you know what I mean? So anyways, I hope I answered your question on that.
Yeah, you certainly did. That was a wonderful answer. Oh man, yeah, you made me think about a lot of stuff, and but I do feel good, and that's ultimately what matters. Like right now, I'm truly grateful that I got to seek your wisdom and hear your story and things like that, and it just made me feel better. So yeah, I guess we'll wrap this interview up for now. Caesar, what is your YouTube channel again? I will. You mentioned you have a website. I mean, and if there's any other social media links you'd like me to,
I'll send them all. I mean, I basically the only one that really is important is my website, which is www.beyondthefrequency369.com. Once you go there, you'll find all my social media platforms, my YouTube channel. I primarily podcast. My main two that I really enjoy is Spotify for the audio listeners and YouTube for the visual stuff, because I have a lot of visual stuff on mine. So yeah, go to the website. Please, if you guys like any of the content, if it resonates with you, hit me with those 5 stars. I mean, that helps a lot, for the conversation, help support small podcasters. And I also want to plug in my friend, because I do owe him one. His name's Brad Lale. He has the Awaken podcast, also on Spotify. He talks a lot about like some really cool stuff regarding spirituality and conspiracies and science and energy work and all that good, angels, all that good stuff. So check him out too.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Caesar. This was an amazing podcast, and maybe we'll reconnect again sometime in the future. So.
Absolutely, buddy. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.